Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is 6 p.m. in the UK. It's time for Evening Brews. Well, I hope you are well, whatever it is you are doing, and you have had a very good Wednesday, hump day, whatever you want to call it. Today, as I put in the title, will be a stream of two halves. We will talk football at the beginning, but people will know that this channel, because of my issues with mental health, addiction, and others within the channel and what we've done in the community, this channel really does take as much time as it can to openly discuss and talk and advise assistance or help or just have the conversation with people in the chat as well as people on screen about mental health. So the second half of this show will be very mental health day orientated. But with me to divulge Tottenham and divulge mental health, divulge it might not even be the right word. Who knows? I have my brother Reese, aka Rico Beans. How are we, Reese?
I'm good, mate. Thank you for having me on the show yet again. Last time I was cooped up in a caravan on holiday in Cornwall. I'm now in the comfort of my own home. I say looking forward to speaking Spurs. After last week, we've done it again. Oh, we've done it again before the international break. We've stubbed our toe right at the last hurdle, and now we've got to feel that throbbing pain for a week while we sit on our couches and try to enjoy some international football, which I never do.
No, I mean I know England have played today. I don't even know if I'll watch it.
I
I
never
will
do.
say because I can see James Flower in the chat. I think you've done what he's done. That wall looks very, very the same colour as your shirt. Have you gone to Dulux with your Tottenham away shirt and said,
No,
"Give me this colour"?
yeah, no, I haven't. It's actually just the light, but it is looking at it now in comparison. It is very very similar. Yeah, yeah.
There's no
So,
light.
if we win Europa League, that wallpaper is staying up forever.
There you go. That's not a bad idea. I will say James Flower did go to Dulux and definitely got his shirt matched to that wall. But let's say hello to everyone as we do. So we will start with channel member Adrian from Spurs Diehards. Big up to you, brother. Peter, how are you, sir? Yeah, you know, buddy, when it comes to this channel, we will always make sure we make time for it. Eddie's big up to you, sir. Andrew Gregory, channel member and advocate for mental health as well. Big up to you. Talk of the devil, there he is. James Flower is in the building, as is Colin Crossamano. I'm going to pretend that I know what that means. I'm going to go for good evening, everyone. I'm going to guess. Nige, Coys, everyone check out his channel. Great guy, great person. Good to see you in the chat, channel member. Of course, Matty is here. Big up. The Sheriff, channel member here. Rich S. Man, I hope you're good and well, buddy. Of course, we have Shawnee Slater in here. And of course, Ben Kaufman, who, if people haven't seen his stream on his channel, the Coffee Company, big chat about mental health today with me and him majority, and then Kuva joined in. But let's deal with Spurs first. And big up to Sammy, who has just joined. So obviously we're going to start with what the title said. And you know what, just very quickly, when it comes to talking mental health support and everything, look who's coming to the chat. Everyone give this man a like and follow. Dan Gay's support service, who tries to help so many people across the board with issues, whether it be disability, mental health, community, anything. Give this man a subscribe. And big, someone I haven't seen in the chat for a long time, Daniel, big up my brother. I hope you're good and well. And see, I'm learning Welsh. So back to Ryan Mason. All talks were he was going to Anderlecht. All talks were Jan Vertonghen's put in a great word for him. And then today, as Paul O'Keefe mentioned, interim boss David Hubert, or Hubbard, however you want to pronounce it, has been appointed over Mason. Understand, some were concerned an inexperienced 33-year-old who doesn't know the league was too risky for some. Tottenham and Levy did not prevent Mason leaving. Rico, what have you made of this?
Well, I was watching you and James yesterday talking about it, and I was commenting on it then. My one thought as soon as I saw this news broke was that I put two and two together, and I just imagine, well, the only thing I thought was the logical thing for it if Ryan Mason does move on. You've got Ben Davies there. I think Ben Davies is something that he would probably jump at the chance to, just to stay on the coaching team. He's been a great servant at the club. Unfortunately, I think he's reached that point in his career where he can't quite cut it, especially under an Ange system. So I thought that was almost going to be the next step for him. I think that the groundwork was starting to get laid for that. But again, I can understand their hesitancy, really. I think the very few times that he has managed us, I know it's been sprung on him, but he does kind of look a little bit out of his depth. Anderlecht's a big club, there's no two ways about that. It's a big club, so it's going to come with a lot of expectation. It's almost like he's too young, not yet. I think he might be the right man for the job, but not right now. And I definitely think he needs to have an initial step before he jumps to a club like Anderlecht, into a league, like they say, that he's not familiar with. I think he'd struggle, and it's almost like when they're one of your own, you don't want to see him go to a different club and struggle, because you almost, part of you feels like, you kind of feel a bit disappointed for them. So that was a bit of a point with me yesterday when I saw that news, and I thought, is it going to happen? Is it not? Ultimately today it hasn't happened, but I think, ultimately it's probably the right thing to do is him just to stay in the backroom stuff for the time being, the training stuff, work on his, at the end of the day, he's going to have the philosophies in his mind of everyone who we've had previous managers of. He's probably in the ideal position to then go, right, I'm going to take him because I like what he done, I like what Jose done, I like what Conte done, I like what mixed all of it together. And by the time he becomes a manager, we'll probably go through another 15 managers anyway. So he's going to have a lot more time to catch up on a lot more things and sort of pick out the best parts that he wants to take into his philosophy, really.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'm just Paddy. If he's unless I share your tweet. Okay, he's just sent me a code about mental health. I'll try and bring that up shortly, Paddy. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will try and see what I can do. Right, I'm just going to bring this back up just so I can type. So, what I don't understand with this, and listen, I don't put any fault on Levy, Tottenham, so I'm not going down no, that's not what I'm doing. Bits I don't get. Understand that someone concerned and an inexperienced 33-year-old who doesn't know the league was too risky for some. They hired Vincent Kompany. And it was his first managerial job. The only technical difference is I could probably say is he grew up in the Belgian league. So he knows the league, so to speak. The bit I find funny is how a club like Anderlecht, and fair play to them, if that's the road they go down, they have the interim manager, that's who they went for. They deem him inexperienced enough to deal with that. Yet we think he's experienced enough to hand in the Carabao Cup final against Pep's Manchester City in only a second game, and then interim enough. Listen, the bit of that came out as well, and again, this is from sources I don't know, and on Twitter, and what people are saying is, if he had gone, Spurs wouldn't have bothered to find a replacement for him. So I don't know what that means for him. Does that mean they thought, okay, it's just one gone, we can deal with it? Or he wasn't that? I mean, I don't know fully understand what it means, but you know what it is? If he must be disappointed, Ryan Mason, if he's gone for this, and then we heard Jan Vertonghen has given him a good reference, and he still can't get over the line, but it does mean Ryan Mason is here to stay. Let's see what people have said. Oh, by the way, first of all, I will put up here, Sean has put in the coffee company's stream for mental health that we did. So if you do want to go back and watch that, it's an incredible stream, actually. Sheriff has put in Adrian's Tottenham till I die, no problem at all. And also, Shawnee has put in, like I said, Dan Gaze's one. honestly, please, if everyone could just give this man a subscribe and watch the stuff he does and tries to do, it is really, really vital for what he's trying to do. Yes, Spurs do cause that. Levy almost nearly saved wages. What's Colin said? Still find it strange. Ange never changed his back room. He never takes his. Yeah, that's a strange one. I've always thought that, but also he's learning new things. Big up audio. So I don't know if I'm not happy. I'm not sad. It's like it's no difference really. I don't know how other people are feeling. Big up audio. Big up to MJ. Who else has come in? Here we go. That's what they said. I feel for Mason. He's been tainted by being involved over the pub. Yeah, let's see what else people said. Hi, Brian. Wishing you an early good on to straight back up to you, buddy. Yeah, I will be fasting tomorrow for 25 hours. Got to have an early dinner. It is what it is. It's the right thing to do this year. If they were concerned, this do you know what you say that, Shawnee? We look at it. Ten Hag interviewed for us. It didn't go down well with Levy or whatever. Maybe something happened when he was asked the questions about the what he sees. It didn't weren't on the same page as them. Yep, there's that. Let's see what else we got. Alpesh, big up to you, buddy. I saw you left a comment about am I doing my show with Chris Cowlin after the window. I did it. I thought it was going to be me and him, but it actually turned out being four of us. It was a great show. It is one of his many shows that he does. But it's straight out the day after the transfer window, I believe. Yeah, if that I didn't even think of that. But yeah, so big up to you, Tweaky. I hope you're good and well. It was good talking with you earlier. Yeah, so that's where we are with Mason. Now, let's start getting onto things. Now, I've got an equation that means international break plus bad result equals sources come out sprouting shit about our players. And true to God, now, Pedro Porro, correct full quotes on Real Madrid links. He said, of course, I'm proud with these links. It means I'm doing things well. If that happens one day, it happens. Now I'm fully focused on my clubs. And I think I meant to say club, Tottenham. Now, Pedro Porro has been heavily linked now with, and he has said he's done a few quote. I was concerned. Then I heard Real Madrid are actually definitely looking at him. What do you think about this, Rico, and people in the chat?
Well, I think he's contracted until 2028, is he not?
Correct.
Or is he? Yes.
Correct.
So he's still got a few more years left on him, which means it's going to be a very, very hefty fee. It's someone who wears everything he does on the pitch on his sleeve, and I love it. There's not a more passionate player on the pitch than Pedro Porro when he steps foot on it. When he first started and made his debut against Leicester, I was thinking, oh my word, what have we signed here? But then obviously as he progressed, he definitely improved. Now he's got his feet under the rug. He knows exactly what this team needs. Every week he puts a shift in, and I'd go as far as to say between him and Kulusevski so far, probably the most consistent players the whole season. Just in terms of performances and effort alone, they just show 100% every time they come on the pitch. Links with Real Madrid, I don't think there's a single Premier League defender who Real Madrid aren't linked to in the last year or so. They've wanted Trent. At one point you think, are they going to have a defensive options of Trent, Saliba, Gabriel, Romero, Van der Ven, Pedro Porro? They're just putting the name in the hat, but it's always the same. Real can come in for any player. Heads are going to be turned. Like I said, if he's going to go anytime soon, it's going to be a very, very big fee, which we all know how they go down. Sometimes they're more preferred over than trying to keep a very, very good player at the club. And much to the dismay of the fans anyway. But every time he's as how he celebrates a block like he scored a goal, that just makes me smile every time. So I think he's an absolute legend. I can't see him going if I'm brutally honest. And if he does, it won't be until a couple of years time. But it's, what he said there, it's the same with anyone. You're going to say something like that. You're going to say, if you're working hard at your job and you're doing very good at your job and you get picked up by a different company down the road that's seen your work you're doing, how much you're progressing, how good you are for that company, you're always going to have one eye on that other company, aren't you?
Correct.
It's whether or not you commit everything to your work that you're in now and try and prove yourself rather than that and make your way up the ladder in the company that you're in now. That's the question. But I see all these links all the time as well in the international break. I haven't even checked. Has he made the Spain squad for the international break? Or are Spain playing in this international break?
I believe they are. And yeah, he's been called up. He's definitely been called up.
I was going to say, I don't know much more that guy's got to do before he gets a call up.
Well,
maybe link with Real Madrid and you just get an automatic call up. Maybe.
Well, we have to remember as well, Carvajal has been called up. So when it comes to being called up, he's going to be playing regularly now for them, isn't he? He's going to be playing absolutely regularly for them. So we shall see what happens there. For me, when it comes to Pedro Porro, I saw, Joe, when people start tweeting this, people are like, he's a crap defender, let him go. And it's like, what are you talking about? He may be a lot stronger attackingly than he is defensively. To me, he's the man. If we were to get a new captain, if we just say Sonny left and all for whatever reason, Pedro Porro is the very, very first person I'm going to. He loves this club. The thing that gets to me, let's just say there is truth to this. We're going to come on to another stupid rumor after this. Let's just say he went in the summer. Our right backs then become Jed Spence, probably his first choice, who was signed by Conte, hasn't been used, wasn't wanted, and now clearly by Ange is a bit part. Will only play if someone physically cannot.
Yeah.
And Archie Gray, who was signed as a central midfielder. So if it was to be sold, where we would be, which is fun times. But right, we've got a user. He's not happy. Mason is staying at Tottenham. Joe, just quickly, I don't know if it's a pro or a negative. It's the same as exactly where we were. But let's see what people are saying about Pedro Porro. Let's have a look. Robbie's here, Lily White Lane. Yeah, exactly. And if you look at it, and also the thing I'm worried about, if we do, let's just say I'm going to just pluck a number out, 70 million. Let's just say it's 70. We sold Walker for 50, had Trippier, but then bought Aurier, Doherty, Spence, Royale, and then Porro. We spent more than the 50 million to replace the person that cost us 50 million. I would be very, very, very concerned that it would be happening again. And like I think Sean said as well, one silver lining with this is until Trent Alexander-Arnold commits to Liverpool, which he probably will, and I don't blame him. He's free next summer. So spend big on Porro or get Trent for free. We'll see. And Liverpool did that with Romero. And now we're going to talk about absolute nonsense of a rumour. And I'm going to say that where I think there's dark arts. We know we don't do the dark arts on the pitch. We know we don't do the dark arts off the pitch. But there are teams that will do the dark arts. So it was rumoured that broke yesterday in Argentina that there was a £65 million release clause in Cuti Romero's contract, which obviously came out straight away. There is no release clause, despite rumours. To Tottenham, he's untouchable. Now, obviously, he's come in for a bit of criticism recently, and for switching off, rightfully so. I don't think there's a clause in his contract, but I think this is dark arts. I think not. I'm not saying Romero. I'm not saying Romero at all. Whether it be his agent, whether it be a Real Madrid that might want him, have started to put things out like this to start unset, because we know Real Madrid are known for doing this and big clubs. Thank God there isn't a release fee, because if there was a £65 million release fee, it would be the most ridiculous thing ever.
Mm.
Do you think this is going to start heating up? Do you think it's dark arts? And everyone in the chat as well. And if Romero was to go, let's just say in the summer, which I don't think he will. Would you be okay if he left in the summer?
Would I be okay with that? I mean, we've basically not took him to any Europa League game so far. I know it's been nowhere near the caliber of a Premier League standards, and Radu obviously got sent off. I honestly think we pushed so much to sign Radu because we knew QT leaving would be inevitable. I stand by that. And, blatantly said in the press conference at the end of the transfer window in the summer, we purposely didn't want to get any more centre-backs, or defensive reinforcements, because it's going to stop the pathway of the youngsters coming through, Luka Vuskovic, Ashley Phillips, which to me is worrying. It is worrying because if big money does come in for QT, I have PTSD with the sentence £65 million release clause after the whole Eze saga that me and you spoke about at nauseum in the summer transfer window. I've got PTSD from that. But 65 million is cheap, very cheap for a player of his quality. You got people like, whether or not it was out of context or not, Messi coming out saying he's the best defender he's played with, or not that he's played with in the world right now, whatever the exact context of that phrase he said. It's an ego boost for him. It's good for him. He's a player playing with confidence when he's in his right form, and when he's on his day, he's very good. This season, he's not been great. He's been off it. I've said it numerous times. The Vardy goal, it's just silly mistakes. Even at Brighton at the weekend, it was between him and Porro. Porro's got a man coming in at the back post. It's his man, and he's just ball watching. And you think to yourself, this isn't a player who's playing with confidence. This isn't a player who you want as your secondary captain. Do I want him gone? Absolutely not. We need to keep these players at this quality and keep building on them. When he goes, for a fact Radu's going to slot into his place. I say when and if. Radu's going to slot into his place. You're probably going to have Ashley Phillips, who's young, good defender, looks good, he's got potential.
Massive fan.
Looks like he's got a lot of potential, but then again, you're relying on that. You're relying on him and Luka Vuskovic to come in as your centre backs, because Ben Davies not hanging around anymore. And you're thinking you're bringing in these youngsters, which is very, very good. I'm all for that, bringing them in for the future, 100%. You've got to blood them. You've got to blood them at an early stage. I get that as well. But you can't be 3 years then into a rebuild and bringing in 18, 19-year-olds as your secondary defensive options. That, to me, is a little bit inexperienced, could cost us there. But do I think Romero will go? I think his head's turned. I do. I really do. Since the rumbling's been going on, I think his head has been definitely turned.
Well, let's have a look. I mean, Joe, you're right, mate. If we have another Harry Kane saga, we do have loads of youngsters coming in. Let's just see. There's 99. Big up, Roundtable. Big up, Nick. I hope you're good. So before we move on to the next one, there's almost 100 people in here right now. We're not talking money or anything. Listen, Sava was the first one to say this. I never clocked on this. Sava actually said Richarlison was brought in to be Harry Kane's replacement. And I was like, no. And then the more and more I thought about it, and this was before Harry Kane was sold, whilst he was still at Tottenham. And you look at it, and it was absolutely right, because then the world knows you've got money and you're looking for a striker. Well, no, we've got the guy in earlier. I'm concerned about this, but I will say with the close to 100, just forget money, forget whatever. If you had your chance right now, it's the end of the season, are you keeping or selling Romero? Big up, Ronnie. I hope you're good and well. And as I said, we've got one more story to do on this, and then we're going to shift gears completely to something that's very close to my heart, this channel's heart, and deal with World Mental Health Day and everything. So we're going to be doing that. Big up, Ryan. I hope you're good and well. Ryan, we'll sort that. We'll sort that. When you come on the fan show Friday, I'll drop you my number, because unless you know someone that's got my number, and then they can give it to you. But let's have a look what we got. Selling. The question: are these players fed up with our? Yep. Listen, that's Dan. This is a major thing: the inconsistency. Keep Romero at the club as long as he wants to be. Yeah, someone said, and I can't remember who. It might have been Michael. It might have been Michael that said, "I hope you're good, Michael." That said, it could be. Was it Michael? Whoever it was, you're gonna know who it was. It could also be Romero's agent trying to get the new contract sorted at Tottenham. It doesn't always have to be, he's looking that way. It could well be, because I've said this when I went on, I think it was Savage Show as well. I actually think Romero stays. I actually do think he will sign a new contract. But I do think if he does sign, Tomori's getting a lot of talk. I would only sell it. Sorry, I think he's staying, but I think if he signs a new contract, then there might be a sell-on fee on there. Yeah, there will be. The fan show is tomorrow night. It's 1 o'clock my time, 6 p.m. your time. I know for people fasting, it may be too late for you, but there will be one tomorrow, and the return of Dave. Psycho, big up to you. So yeah, I think Romero does stay. I would say I think he does. Thank you, Al Pesha, it was you. Because on his date, do you know what? I heard someone say, it might have been Stafford again. Individually, our defenders are brilliant. Collectively, as a team, whether it needs help with the midfield or whatever, and I agree with him. What about you, Reese?
Yeah, well, again on Sava, I was watching his stream or show. It was a couple of weeks ago now, and you hit the nail on the head. You know, we've got the perfect back five for a Conte system now. After Conte's gone, you know, you can stick them three, Mickey on the left, and you can have Radu in the center or Romero in the center. Either way, it would work tremendously. You know, with Porro and Udogie, he doesn't play that way. We all know that. So I do almost feel quite sorry for Radu at times, because I think obviously his confidence is going to be mega low after the after Europa League. I know Ange's probably trying to blood him in a bit more and get him on a few more minutes in the Prem. I think there's a player in there. I just don't think Ange fully trusts him. But I hope and pray that Ange starts seeing things soon. Because I mean, there's all this talk. You know, all the managers always talk. Well, we need competition for places. Well, if Romero keeps on this form, surely Radu's got a slot in there. You know, you take your second, third captaincy aside. If you're not performing on the pitch consistently, your player that we've signed and Ange wanted so desperately, your competition player will take your spot. That's how it's got to be. You've got to be on the top of your game. And unfortunately, so far this season, he's made too many mistakes. Going forward, hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's just a blip in form. The only thing is you want to have him to have a good run of form, the same, and Brennan's to keep going at the same time.
Well, let's hope they do. Yeah. Hope they do. Well, do you know what? Talking of that, we got one transfer link that came out, and it's one I fully am behind. And apparently, and it's starting early from Give Me Sport and the Spurs Watch, one of my favourite Twitter channel accounts. Spurs Watch, I love dearly. Semenyo, I can never say his name right. How do you say his name?
Semenyo,
thank you. There's the golden words from Tottenham. Attracting interest. It's not concrete yet. We're not registering our interest. We're not monitoring the situation, but he is attracting interest, and I can bloody well understand why. What about you, Reese?
Yeah, he's just an Ange winger. You know, everything on it. He's an Ange forward. I know. I think last year, he got to get 9 or 10 GA. Was it?
Something like that.
8 goals or something last season. Yeah, because I saw it count the other day. Funny enough, talking about it, so I did a bit of digging into him. I think he got 8 goals last season, 2 assists this season. He's got 3 goals, 1 assist so far. And that's in 6 games. Last year was 33 games, 8 goals. So he's nearly halfway total goals he was last season, 6 games that he was, or 7 games, sorry, than he was on 33 last year, which is good. You know, he's young. He's 24 years old. He's not going to be at the top of his game yet. We're going to kind of get him in that peak age, really. And it's competition. You know, it's you can't almost rely on this 18-year-old Yang Min Hyuk who's coming in January. To be straight up competition for Brennan. You know, you need Brennan to almost be looking over his shoulder. That's why I kind of feel like it's a strange one, because Brennan's really come into form when he hasn't had that much competition on the right-hand side. You've got Wilson Odobert who come on, and that kind of boosted him a little bit. Now he's gone off injured, but he's still kept that good quality of form, which is what we want. You want to see consistency in your players, of course you do. But I think this would be a very, very good signing if we can. The only trouble is a player like this, with numbers like that, no offense to Bournemouth, but at a club like Bournemouth where, you can, excuse the pun, cherry pick from Bournemouth, they're better.
Very good. I see what you did there.
Yeah, that was very good. I've been working. I haven't been working on that all day or anything. Don't worry about that. But well, I mean, we managed to get Solanke over the line, which was good. I think we're going to be diving back in there for Semenyo? Hopefully. It's going to be a tough one. I think the thing is, you think Ange has brought in forwards. If he's here for another couple of years, which some people don't want him to, some people hope he does stay, some people hope he doesn't. That's this whole up and down thing with Ange at the moment. His main goal and focus is to crowd that forward line because, like you said last season, our forwards weren't good enough. Re-sign Timo Werner. That's a whole other question. Discussion for another day. But you got to think next season. By the looks of it, now we've heard nothing on Sonny. I think he will maybe get a contract extension sorted out. But that's uncertain. Werner, I can't see him staying anymore. I think this is his last season. Thankfully, personally, and that's not a dig at Timo. I think he's a very established player, but he's just not right for the system. And I think he's had his day. And I don't think he's the player that some people thought he could be. Very few people, maybe, but like I said, that's a whole nother discussion. But I think we are generally going to be quite short on wingers. We've got Wilson, we've got Mikey Moore coming in, we've got Odobert when he's back fit, Brennan Johnson and Son, and Yang Min-hyuk. But I can't see all of them being at the club next year. It's almost like you'd want a Semenyo because I know he's played in the striker position before as well. He's not just a left or a right winger. He can, he's quite open to what position he can play. He can play in multiple different positions. I almost would kind of like to have competition for him and Brennan on the right. Yep. I think that fills me with a lot more confidence. And then Mikey Moore coming through. And then on the left, maybe have Son, Odobert coming through. And I would love to have Mitoma. I would love to have Mitoma from Brighton. That's another player as well. But that would be a very good wing options, I think. But I think we need to stack up and bulk up in that position because, one injury to Brennan now.
Yeah.
Kulu's back on the right.
You're right. I mean, let's see what people have said. I think if you're saying Jonathan David or Semenyo, I think I'm actually going to... I touted and wanted Jonathan David so badly, and obviously I see him at close quarters or hear a lot about him, especially internationally. I think of the Premiership experience, I go Semenyo. I really do. We've got Nye saying, love this guy, top player. Spurs cement trucks warming up for January, correct. Could have got him for I think they could have got him for 20 million. Yeah, but we won't do things like this. What's Dan saying? Why is it not letting me bring it up? Okay, StreamYard is frozen. Can you still see me?
I can.
Okay. I don't know why the comments have just frozen, but I'll go. Here we go. Now they're working. It's not a world-class signing, and so to get us going, another middle. Okay. Cross Amano has been seeing him has been wanting this player for a long time, and Colin Cross Amano's got an eye for talent. And Ange forward, he can't take. He won't at the moment, but it's competition. You say competition. I say with four. I say with four cup competition or four competitions, it's squad management. So yeah, there's a few yeses. There's a few no's. I think he's had a good start to the season. I think he's had a very good start to the season and seems to be very attacking, very creative, which is what we need. Whether it happens is another thing. Right. Yeah. Second half of the show, and obviously now people just, there's 94 of you in. I think the only chance of football talk coming up right now will be if we're related to a footballer that's been going through it. Brennan Johnson could come into it, but people will know this channel for many things. I think if people describe Tottenham on tour and what it's about, people will say, well, that's Dagul and the lads channel and leave you out as they come. Correct. We will talk Levy. I will go for Levy whenever I need to, or I deem it's warranted. We can talk about, is the manager good enough or not? Are the players good or not? But one of the main things that matter to me in this channel is something that's today. It is World Mental Health Day. Like I said earlier, did a great show on Ben's show, and there's people that will know this channel will know my struggles with it, my struggles with addiction, my health issues that I've had to go through, and everything recently. And this channel always will be open and talking about it. And you look at it, but Rick, I mean, like you said, if you want to talk about anything you go through, you're fine. But then we can talk about how it affects players. And I've got some other slides with quotes, but before we talk about that, I'm going to share my screen because Paddy did ask me to share something, which I couldn't. I tried to download to share, but it wouldn't allow me. So I'm just going to share my screen. And if people can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so Paddy's put it on now. I've retweeted it. If you see, this is what the world's become now, barcode or QR codes, whatever they're called. Can people do me a favor and retweet, save, and send this to save to people they may need to hear it for World Mental Health Day? I haven't seen it, but if you get a chance and you're on Twitter, or you can scan it from here or go back to it after the show, go check that out. I have retweeted it. So if you're not following Paddy, but you do follow me, you can see it. And thank you for bringing that to my attention, Paddy. But yeah, mental health, people will know. And if people want to ask questions in the chat right now about mental health, about getting help, or what I've been through, or what I did to overcome, this is the moment. Fire away. This is going to be very mental health centric. I will say thank you, Matty, for sending the super chat with mental health matters. Reese, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, like I said to you earlier on today, I'm quite open and honest when it comes to mental health. You know, statistically, a lot more people are having a struggle with mental health these days. The numbers only going up when it comes to men, women, anyone across the world. Mental health is always going up. I personally went through a time about 6 years ago. I'm a very, very confident person, you know. By trade, I used to be a barber. I was a barber for 8 years of my life, talking to people in and out all day, every day, conversations galore with anyone. And I would generally speak, and I still will speak to anyone these days. I developed severe anxiety out of absolutely nowhere. That was the more scary thing because, you know, any sort of mental health can just, you know, there's not a time stamp on it. There's not a timeline, how long it's going to last, when it's going to start, when it's going to finish, if it ever does. The fact that it came out of nowhere caught me off guard. I had numerous different anxiety attacks completely out of the blue. I'd be in the middle of speaking to someone in the middle of doing a haircut on them, and all of a sudden I would just freeze up, and it's horrible. You know, you feel genuinely, the only way I can describe it is if anyone's had anxiety attacks, you know, you'll know it just feels like the one thought you can think of in your mind is just, I'm going to die for no particular reason. And it's absolutely horrid. It's horrible to go through. I went on medication for it, ended up getting over it, which is, I'm very thankful, you know, and you know, I'm very proud that I could overcome that and come out the other side and talk about it. It was something that for me as a person and my characteristics of being always growing up, I was the class clown. I'm the loudest in the room, which I sometimes get me in a little bit of trouble, but that's different. You know, that's different conversation. It's about speaking, you know, it's speaking to people, speaking to those you're close to. There should be no shame in it. And that's one thing I think a lot of people struggle with is acceptance and, you know, getting the advice and opening yourself up. You know, there's as bad as it feels, you know, as hard as it can be for anyone to open up and share with someone, you're always going to come out on the other side. Like I said, There's nothing bad that can come out with sitting down with a close friend, a family member, even a complete stranger, and, you know, just having a chat with and opening up and talking to, because that's how I dealt with it, you know, throughout my customers. When my customers were coming in, I would explain to them, you know, what I was going through, and the amount of people that then suddenly opened up to me, you know, in that, you know, sat in my chair, and they'd be, oh, I'm the same, mate, you know, and then you get on conversation. The more you talk about it, you have your own individual ways of dealing with it. So my way of dealing with it was, taking the piss out of myself. But that was my way of dealing with it. Everyone has their own individual ways of dealing with it. I know it's nothing to joke about, but to me, that was my way of trying to shock myself out of it, and it worked. And that's not the correct way to go about it. Where everyone deals with it in their own ways, like I said. But it's the little things, when you go through life, you have to look at the little things. You wake up every day in your bed, you're happy and healthy, you thank everything and everyone for being in your life the way it is now, because some people don't have that. And once you, like I said, once you take that leap of faith, you speak to someone about it, you get it out there, send it out there in the ether, whether you talk to a brick wall, it's just getting it out there, leaving your body, and that it's going to get better. It's hard. Like I said, everyone goes through their individual journeys. Like yourself, Brian, I know you've gone on your own journey, and you're very much a different man now, and you come out the other side, which is absolutely brilliant, and absolute credit to you in every aspect, and the same as a lot of people in this chat. But I think the main thing is, like I said to you today, if I can explain my anxiety issues that I went through, come out the other side, thankfully, I hope it can just let just one person open up to someone else and admit that sometimes we all struggle. It's nothing to be ashamed about. Just have a chat and you'll be fine, honestly. And I'm always here. Like I said, we put my socials in the chat. I'll have a chat with anyone.
Yep.
About anything.
You've been incredible, Reece. We started speaking through X. Like I've said to a few people on that hideous, godforsaken, vile app where there is just so much shit. There are some diamonds in there. It's just finding them, and when you find them, you really do strike gold. Like I have with you, Rico. Like our friendship that's blossomed since it, and just you being able to say that on camera is massive. Because, like I said, when I first got diagnosed, and when I was going through all my issues, it was a time where mental health was either you're schizophrenic, you're bipolar, like you're nuts, or like you're proper deemed as in the way that media and the way that soaps handled it, and every walk of life, even your families would be like, "Get away from me!" I remember people remember. I'm always open. My parents kicked me out. I lived on the streets for 6 months because my parents couldn't handle the drink, the drugs, the violence, not towards them or my family, or the shit I was getting involved in. They couldn't deal with it. When I was at home, it was like, take your pill, feel better. Like that's where we were. And then thankfully in this world, we have come to a point where people can open up and talk. Football clubs have done. I will always give Wolves and Norwich immense credit for the videos they've done. Like I said, it's been something. Me and Brian Ireland started doing this on YouTube or on a show when me and Brian were part of Tottenham away, before we had to split and because of COVID coming back to normal and starting Tottenham on tour. We've regularly done specials. We'll continue to do them, and the amount of people that have appreciated them, joined them, something from it, it's the biggest thing. Because I've always said, if I didn't do this and didn't talk about it, no, there's people sitting at home that might be watching this. It says there's 84 people watching. There's not 84 people in the comments, but I can guarantee one of them have got a friend, a relative, a workmate, or even themselves, or a child. They're one of their own children going through this awful thing, and it's not speaking about it helps fight it. Honestly, I've said it before. Talking about this openly isn't for attention. Isn't to go, oh, look at me, I need some time. People will say revealing it, getting emotional, doing it is a sign of weakness. You're wrong, my friend. You're wrong. Exactly. It's a sign of strength. I'm just going to bring. We've got quite a few comments. We'll go through.
I was just scanning through the comments there. And
we're going to go through. I'm just going to bring up a few slides that I was just going through. That just certain things that spoke out to me, and one of them was this. I'm just going to read it out. You don't need to see it. Today on World Mental Health Day, let's come together and raise awareness about mental health issues. Remember, it's okay to seek help and support one another together. We can break the stigma and promote a healthier, more understanding world your mental health matters. And the reason I brought this one up is obviously we are in a the YouTube, whatever you want to call it, the community, Twitter, everything across the board. I'm not just talking Spurs YouTube, Spurs Twitter, but we can pigeonhole it to us. It is vile. It is goddamn vile. And these trolls that like to come out, like, I'll tell you, I'll tell you something. I'm gonna read something out now. So when I did my From the Heart about my surgery not going ahead and why it hadn't and the mental strain it's put on me, blah, 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 and how I needed it, Tottenham on Tour received a message from my email address from a fake name by the name of Anne Hodge. This is what I got within half an hour of that video coming out because I pre-recorded it. Grow the hell up, get a job and support your wife and stop sponging off her like a pathetic excuse of a human you are. Your silly little operation will happen eventually. Stop crying like a fucking baby. No one gives a toss. How long have you been with your missus? How long have you been sponging off her and job dodging for? Absolutely pathetic human being. You're going to lose her at this rate, you scumbag. Stop making excuses to why you don't get a job. Everyone else has operations and stuff in life. Get on with it. This is obviously certain people, I don't know who it is, had a fake name. Who knows? They could be watching now. I could receive another one. But for some reason, some people think it's okay to one second. I'm just around. Thank you, richest man, for the super chat with it. I'll always address them when I see him. Appreciate it. Psycho Fox, Simon, there was absolutely no need to do that, mate. Fully appreciative for the support everyone gives this channel, myself, Ben, Ireland, all of us, Dave, Amir, everyone who comes on this channel. This is all about the community. And like I said, when we do this, this isn't attention. This isn't likes and clicks and subscribes and whatever. This is, I was in a very, very dark place. I could have been in prison. I could have been 6 foot under. I could have still been in a mental health unit. Came close to that. One of the reasons, I won't go into the full details, one of the reasons I was back for London for a year was if I didn't get out, I was going to literally destroy my life. And it was like, no, go home, get out, seek help, sort yourself out. Did that. Now, thank God, my marriage that was on the line is the strongest it's ever been. My relationship with my mother-in-law, which was quite frankly appalling, starts with a fist bump every morning. And everything that was bad has gone. Everything that was good, and my incredible support network I have here in Canada is incredible. And with this thing here, all it takes is "Are you okay?" Reaching out. You have to remember, and I've said it. One of the reasons during all these Twitter things that go on, I may have had disagreements with people, arguments with people, but I don't go out calling people individually. I don't go looking for it. And one of the main reasons I don't do it isn't because I can't handle myself or don't want to get into. It's this. You never know what this person is going through behind. Oh, the world is bigger than Tottenham. If someone had to say, Levy leaves this football club, or one or two people take something from this stream right here, I choose the latter. Every single goddamn time. Because football will come and go, whatever. This is too important. The next one I brought up, then we start going through the comments together. This is something I share every single year. I did, and even before World Mental Health Day came up, this was in my memories. It's so simple. Life is short, so live it. Love is rare, so if you get the opportunity, grab it. Dreams are real, so chase it. I will tell you now, from the day I met my beautiful and wonderful wife in 2007, I fell in love with her at first sight. When I told this story today, when my grandpa died in 2013, early 2013, I was with an ex-girlfriend who I was going to be ending it with because she was being horrible during the time my grandpa was ill. And I said, let me get over the mourning period and everything, then I'll end it. I stood at my grandfather's grave and said, I'm going to be your only Jewish grandson that marries a Jewish woman, and her name is said Ilana's name. 18 months later, we were married. So if you have dreams, chase it. Honestly, fear is awful, so face it. I completely agree. Apart from mine, when it comes to snakes, which won't be cured ever, I won't do it. And the most important thing, memories are sweet to cherish. I mean, like you said, Rico, when it comes to what you were talking about openly, anxiety can be a massive thing. I got to the point where I used to, if the doorbell rang, I used to crawl on my knees to my parents' bedroom, who's look over the front door to pick. It's horrible what it can do to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I said, the only way I can describe it was it come out of nowhere and it shocks you. I've seen a few comments. Like you said, we're going to be going through the comments. It's bizarre. That's the only way I can describe it. Is the first thing that comes to mind. It was standing there one day and all of a sudden it feels like your whole world's being sucked away from you for a split second. Your panic stations start going off. Every sense there is in your body is just telling you just to be completely and utterly terrified for nothing, for no reason. What is this? The questions that are going through your mind, it's awful. It is really bad. And like you say, earlier on with your parents and stuff like that, dealing with it. My dad, who I'm very, very close with, I love him to bits. He's my best friend as far as I'll, and always will be. His way of dealing with seeing me go through that was complete and utter rejection of that was an actual thing, because he's very old school, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's very, very old school. It was, days where I would be in my bed, sat in my bed, and it'd be, spend it all day in your pit. And I just, every time, I stand up, I would go and make a drink, and I would feel the need to go to the toilet and be sick for no reason at all, because it was nerves. And I think after a good sit down and chat with my mum, they're divorced, but they're still, on good terms. They had a good chat about the whole situation, opened his eyes a little bit. I had a good chat with him, opened his eyes to it a little bit. And I still feel, talking about that time, not that we do talk about it much, you can see how guilty he feels that he didn't really understand it, because he's never had to been through anything like that. It was the same as when my auntie passed away, who's obviously my dad's sister. Him and my uncle, who are twins, they were very stone-faced. I know exactly what they were, I'll never know what they're going through, like I said, but they were, I know that they just wanted to just bawl their eyes out, and they did. And I thought that was so refreshing to see, because it's very, very sad times, but you just need to open up sometimes. And opening up, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. I'll sit there, I'll openly, like I say, talk about things. I'm as open as they come. Anyone can have a conversation with me about absolutely anything. It doesn't faze me at all. I'm not shy. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll say it how it is, and I'll say my experiences and try and pass that on and help other people to get through their times. But it's, still, I very, very, very rarely get anxiety attacks anymore. I had one about 2 years ago, but that was for it almost felt like a split second. And my fiance sort of, "Are you okay?" "Yes." "Do you want to talk about it?" "Yes." Sat down, had a conversation with it, and that was that. It was an arm around the shoulder sort of jobby, and we move on. But opening up and speaking to someone and having that connection there, that someone who's grounded enough to stand there and have a conversation with you, or sit there and have a conversation, and you could completely fully open up to and talk about anything, that's priceless. And everybody deserves a person like that in their life, and everyone does have a person like that in your life. You just sometimes don't know it until you do open up, and you find that person. But like I said, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face at all. My socials will be put in the show afterwards, and if you want to send me a DM or whatever at any time, I don't care who you are, as long as there's no vile abuse like what you just said you got from absolute idiots there are in the world. But unfortunately, this world is full of idiots that don't really know what to say or when to say it, and feel their only way that they can express their feelings is by just sending hate out there. And there's only one word for those people, and I'd rather not say it on air, but everyone can gather what I mean.
Listen, the sad thing I have to say about it is, unfortunately, mental health at some point in their lives will creep up on them, whether it's through a friend, a relative, whatever.
Well, I mean, being horrible and just outright calling you out on those different things in a person like yourself who's being open and leaving yourself vulnerable, essentially, for people just to come and show their support, like everyone like that. If a person feels violent enough to attack you at a moment where you feel you're weakest, it's almost proving that they themselves are suffering from mental health problems. And that's not that's not a dig at anyone at all. Of course it's not. But sometimes you need to open your eyes and think, what am I doing? Why am I like this? Therapy is real and it does help,
It does. I will say, you mentioned your dad. It's you mentioned so many things that rely on my dad. My dad tried to get me help, tried to get me to the Priory and everything. And I took it for granted. And then when I did need help, I self-destructed. But me and my dad couldn't be in the same room with each other in case we'd tear each other. And I mean literally tear each other limb from limb, which I don't take any. I'm not proud of it. It's just the way I was out of control. But when I quit drinking, when I got myself straight and everything, within the first year, was it year and a half? I had a load of things happen. My mum was diagnosed with cancer. Thanks, she's beating it. A few friends, but literally one day, a very, very good friend of mine died. A very, very close friend of mine died, and the next day, his sister died. Like you just said with your dad and his twin. And at that moment, my dad turned up at my then girlfriend's house. I said, "What are you doing here? Your mum, your sister's just died. You should be your sister, your mum." I was coming late. He goes, "I've left them." And it's like, "Why'd you leave him?" He goes, "Well, you had a friend die yesterday, and now your auntie's died. I just want to make sure you're not going to have a drink. I just want to make sure." I was like, "You've come all this way to make sure I'm okay. When you hero, God level. Right, final two slides. Then we'll go through the comments. This one I only saw today, and I love this one. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. They say light at the end of the tunnel and everything that goes along with it. I'd never heard this saying until today. And it's so true. It's like when you see the sun getting through the curtains and whatever. And most importantly, the last one, and I actually have this tattooed on my back. I'm all for one for quotes of positivity. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, 5 with the mental health slogan on me. And it's from the great man, Nelson Mandela. It's the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but rising every time we fall. And I'm aiming that there's people that may have got counselling or have wondered about counselling or have hit rock bottom and tried to get up and fallen back down. Listen, you'll get there. Trust me. There's people out there, whether it's Reese. If Ben Kaufman is in the chat still, Reese's Twitter hand. Actually, wait a minute. I'll get it right now. 1 second. So I want to drop it in before we start going through the comments. Let me go into my Twitter and get your handle, because I'm sure there's many people on here that are watching that do have Twitter. Let me just get it. There it is. I'm going to copy it, paste it in the chat. So if anyone does want to reach out to Reese, not just because of what he's saying now, but because of football or anything, his Twitter handle is there. Right, we're going to start going through. There's probably a mountain of comments. I'm going to give them all the attention. We'll go through it singly. We'll go through it. Evening, Brian and Reese. Brian, do you know, I haven't spoken to Sean. I tried to send him a WhatsApp, but I don't know if his WhatsApp is his WhatsApp. I've sent him a Twitter DM. I haven't heard anything of it. Obviously, he came back for a bit. I don't know what is going on with him, as in I haven't spoken to him recently, but I hope to do soon, because, like I said, I get on with Sean very well. We may have completely different views about how this football club is running, where it's going, but I get on with Sean very, very well, and he's a good guy. Right, let's start. As Colin said, a bruise can go away. A toxic word stays far longer. That's why I wanted Brennan out of this. Yeah, I mean, look what Brennan's doing. Then we've got Dave. Big up to you, Dave. Grateful that this channel is doing so much to educate more about mental health. If there's anyone that wants to talk, and it always starts with, he is spot on. He is absolutely spot on. I did see another super chat coming from him. Just wanted to say thank you to Brian and Tottenham on Tour for spreading awareness. It's important taking this first step. David, thank you. David is another one. David is someone, I keep talking about the diamonds on Twitter. Dave is another one. Dave is someone I spoke to about Spurs on Twitter. We now speak regularly via WhatsApp. We do, even if we don't talk for a while, we hop in and out, checking on each other. He's a top man. He also on Twitter via his name, Richard. I wouldn't say looking sharp, although I don't know if it's a good thing. My mum said she hates my hair at this length. Said you actually look good like this with this length, so it may need to go very soon. Good evening from Just a Harmless Potato. Dan Gay's support service. What signs can you look out for to distinguish when a down day becomes a mental health condition? It's do you know what it is as well? I don't know if you can separate the two. In all honesty, I'll get you to answer this as well after Rico. For me, the thing is, and I said it earlier on Ben Stream, the great thing with me and Ilana, like I said, I met her in Israel in 2007. I was still drinking. I was still doing coke. I still had my anger issues. I still had my temper. Someone was trying to come onto her that she didn't want, and it took 3 people to stop me chucking him out of a window because I got so enraged, which again, I'm not proud of, but it's where I was. Ilana now knows, and people around me know, there's people at Tottenham on Tour, like our creative group, know if I don't respond to a message in a day, don't panic. I could be having a down day with my health being whatever. If I don't reply to a message in 3 days, start panicking. If I don't respond to a message, whether it be WhatsApp, text, email, Twitter, whatever, it's when I have down days, Ilana knows about it straight away. Because she needs to know the warnings. Like, for instance, when I first I've been sober 16 years now, and just about around the Ajax game time was the closest I've ever come to drinking. And the stupidest thing I did when I came to Canada was not find a support group for alcohol in case I went there. I couldn't officially go to one to begin with because I wasn't the permanent resident. As soon as she knew that, Ilana went into a 3-week course intense of how to deal with living with an addict and how to support her and speak to other people that live with addicts. I tell people the warning signs. If the thing is, when you're having a down day, if you don't discuss it or talk about it, it could lead to a mental health issue because you're thinking the world's on top of your shoulders. Your brain is playing tricks with you and doing things that it shouldn't do. I cannot tell you how much speaking has helped me. When I start working for people, we go out drinking. They're like, "You're not drinking? Are you driving or something?" I go, "No, I'm an alcoholic." I tell them immediately, "This is an issue I have. I don't expect you not to drink around me or whatever, but because I get it out there so people know and don't feel uncomfortable, it's out there." But always, if you're feeling down, always talk to someone. And it could be a stranger. It could be a stranger. It could be a friend. I mean, what have you got to say on it, Rico?
Yeah, I think like I said, when I started going through it, it was odd. It was the first ever anxiety attack I had. Like I said before, it completely knocked me for 6. I was, what was that all about, sort of thing. It was the fact that when they started more and more frequently, where I started going, hang on a minute, this isn't just me going through a little bit of a panic over something. This is something more serious. It's hard because the only way I can kind of differentiate that is anyone can have mental health condition and not know about it, but also absolutely everyone has down days. Everyone has down days, whether you know it or not. It might be something that you see that triggers you to be in a more.
Back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, it might be something that you see that triggers you, and you go into a bad mood or it takes you back to a bad thought or a bad memory, and you suddenly get the huff, and you're in a bad mood for the rest of the day. It's whether or not you can see that a pattern start to emerge and think, is it not necessarily normal, because I don't really like the word normal because that can apply to anyone really. Is there something that I'm seeing on a consistent basis that is triggering something. It is something's not quite right there. Something might be going on in your head that you can't explain and you don't know how to deal with. That's the time when you kind of, like I said before, and I'd say it until I'm blue in the face, and I will keep on saying it. If you talk to someone and open up about it, that's when you can sit there and have someone else's opinion on what they think it might be. Because that was when my first conversation I had was with one of my closest mates. He was someone that went through something very similar, not in terms of anxiety attacks, but he would get quite, I wouldn't say depression, but he would struggle a lot in terms of going out. When we'd go out on a night out or something like that, he would get a lot of kind of anxiety, a little bit of panic attacks, because he is, I mean, I'm about 5'4". I'm no by no means a tall guy, but one of my mates and my closest mate, like I said, who went through it as well, who I explained everything with, was probably one of the most understanding people I know, and I know I can open up about everything to. He's about 12 foot tall. He is absolutely huge. So when we go out into a bar or a pub, he's towering over everyone, and his anxiety, his trigger was being in a crowded place because he'd feel like everyone's looking up at him because he's looking down on everyone, and that was his trigger, and he couldn't cope with that. So in the end, we both sat down. We had a massive heart-to-heart one night, opened up to each other about everything, and it was just nice to get it off my chest. Like I said, you don't know if anyone you speak to is going through the same thing, because it's such a good feeling just to be able to sit there and go, I've differentiated. That was a down day, but now I'm seeing it on a more consistent basis. Maybe there's something else there to which I need to ask some questions. That's
a great answer. I will say David Shire has popped in and does what he does in support of the channel, and he's done it by giving 5 memberships to 5 lucky people. If you did get a membership from him, please do send it a message of thanks. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. Massive good day to you, my brother in Australia. Again, someone I met through Andrew Management, through just watching the show, got talking with him, now speak regularly via WhatsApp. One of the nicest human beings to walk under God's hot sun, is what I will say. Psycho Fox, mental health is one of the hardest things to overcome, said from experience. Listen, Psycho, again, thank you for the mahusive, the behemoth of a super chat. It means so much. And like I said, again, it's now, see, Michael's even shared even more, which he was sectioned, best bit of advice I had was, my joy will be greater than my pain after time. That became true. We are stronger than we know. Michael, honestly, first of all, thank you for saying what you said at the beginning, that you didn't have to share that. But yeah, honestly, I should have been in the mental health unit, and I wasn't sectioned, or was I? No, I wasn't sectioned, but I was told that, let's say I was sectioned under the grounds it was. I'm not going to go into that. But I literally should have been in there before. But because I thought I'm not mental, I'm not schizophrenic, I'm not this, I'm not that, I didn't think I needed it. I went counselling. Counselling saved me big time, but I needed more around the clock care and rehabilitation, whatever you want to call it. And I should have got in sooner. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have gone in a hell of a lot sooner. Just like me with 16 years alcohol. If I knew the rewards of stopping it when I did, like now, I'd have stopped years and years before. Honestly, I keep saying, when you hit rock bottom, Rico, and I don't know if you agree with me, people say it's a really bad place. For me, it's not, because when you're at rock bottom, you can rebuild yourself the way you want to be. There, I used to say, when I was rebuilding myself and I'd fallen rock bottom, you get to that crossroad and it's like, do I want to go down that avenue or am I going to take that route? Mm. Then you take the wrong one, and then and I've said with mental health as well, it's amazing. You can be at level, let's just say there's 10 runs of the ladder. 0, not on the ladder is mental health issue, big time. Number 10 is you're having a really good time, you're in a good part of your life. Life is great, life is wonderful. You can only climb up that ladder 1 run at a time. You can't go from 1 to 6 or 2 to 9 or whatever. But no matter what run of the ladder you're on climbing up, you can go plummet straight down to 0. It's a road that you have to take each step. There's no shortcuts. There's no, oh, if I do this and whatever, everything's better. Rico, what do you think about that?
Yeah, like I said, there was multiple times where you're in that middle grounds. Is this going to end? And the same as what, like I said, being a barber for 8 years, I got to speak to people. A lot of people shared their own mental health problems with me, and a lot of the time the conversations would come up in regards to how they're feeling, home life, work life, anything can trigger it, and it can be in regards to anything. That was absolutely fantastic bit of advice. Like you say, it sounds cliche to say it, but you will come out of it a hell of a lot stronger. I certainly did. I come out of that, the days of having anxiety attacks on a regular basis. I come out of it the other side, and I thought, it can happen. It can come back anytime, and that's kind of always there at the back of your mind. But when you move past that and you get onto a good path in life, and everything's fallen into place, it's kind of like I look back now and I think everything happens for a reason, and I really do. I think if I wouldn't have gone through that spell of being how I was due to certain, scenarios on how it happened, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be confident enough to go up to people and sort of say things how I do now. And I don't speak to people disrespectfully at all at work, but I'll tell them how it is. And I think the way you progress in any company and in any walk of life is by being honest with people and, explaining your side of the story. And ultimately, you'll see the results come out, and you'll be ultimately a much better, more confident, more, how do you say it? You'll almost feel like a more blessed person as well coming out of it.
You're right. We've just got a few more super chats before we go back to the chats. Spurs Danilist, big up to you. Mental health has always been more important than football. Much love to this community for supporting each other. Always reach out to someone when you need to. Dan, first of all, thank you for the super chat. Everyone check his channel out as well. I was on it this week. This is the thing, and we have built this community has a lot of issues, but also has a lot of good people in it. A lot of good people that are always here. And it's like I said, this channel will continue to do these shows. We have to do a 24-hour one, which I'm going to put into works very soon, because there will be professionals, and I mean proper professionals that we normally get in when we do it. Eugene, thank you very much, buddy. Great show, gentlemen. And then we've got one final one, which is a $20 super sticker from Mr. Shire, and I always try to share them. And it's someone giving someone a hug, a nice big hug. So it's always good. But right, let's go back to where we were. Where were we? We were at, who was it? Oh, it was Michael. Shawnee Slater, one of my favorite people. People I never knew I needed in my life are at the end of the screen, or chats like these are WhatsApp groups. Exactly. Like Rico, you've never met Sean, spoken to Sean, you're in groups with him now. Our group chat is one of the most positive, or when I say, listen, we argue, we have some Tottenham banter or whatever, but it's an incredible place to be in. There you go. From Dan, from
Dan the man.
well, I should have got you on today as well, buddy. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to be going this deep into it. Rob Frank, big up to you, mate, and your constant support. Anxiety attacks are really bad from my own experience as well. They really can be. What else have we got? It's a sign of strength, not weakness. Big time. Exactly. Big time. If there's anyone out there and you are worried about talking to someone, whether it be a parent, a sibling, a relative, a doctor, or a Samaritan, trust me, that first step you make will open a door that you will want to walk through. Don't get me wrong. I will tell you now, when I went through counselling, as anyone will say, there's a moment in it where, or moments where it is as emotional as hell. Things start opening up and clicking into gear, and you come out thinking, "Oh my god, I'm a mess because of that session." But when you get there, they're getting to the root cause. I always used to say, when I went to counselling, there was a lock on your heart, a lock on your head, and there's 100 keys or 1,000 keys you got to go through. And after every session, you take a key, and if it unlocks, if it doesn't, you're 99 key, you're one key and you'll finally get there. And then when you do, the rewards can be incredible. Yep, exactly. And this is the thing. I want to make it. Yeah, Richard, you're right. Supporting. Listen, I say to people when people were at the Scotland Yard are like, "Can I buy you a drink?" I'm like, "A Coke or alcohol free." And they're like, "You driving?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You're an alcoholic and you support Spurs?" My God, that must be hard. You're right. I mean, I was in the mental health unit, and my dad took me out for the evening for dinner, and we went to. He brought me home. Sorry. And we watched the Spurs game. And if people remember this game I'm about to mention, Spurs 3-0 in the 3-0 up in the FA Cup to Manchester City, lose 4-3. It tests you. It tests you. Dan was saying, ask your own question. A down day is 24 hours long. More than that, have it exactly that. Rico, you got a round of applause for you opening up. There is no universal fix. The reasons mental health issues are correct, completely correct. That's the thing. I can always, when it comes to people, one second, what's he just said? You can have a few days down the beach, but yeah. So when it gets to you got to remember, if people reach out to me to talk and say, Brian, how did you do this? What did you do? I can only tell you what I went through. Mine was
experience, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, I can tell you tools that I use nowadays. I have a video that I always listen to day in, day out, or whenever I'm down, I'm going to share it again. I shared it in beds. I'm going to put the link in every time I'm down. Third grade dropout. It's a 10-minute video, and no matter what happens, whenever I'm down, whether I have to listen to this video twice a week, if I have to listen to it twice a day, whether I have to listen to it 3 times a week, once a year, whatever, this video gets me every single time. I'm going to share it in the chat right now. Just listen to this dude talk for 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes long, and it's incredible. So where was I on the chat? I've got to find where we were. Where were we? There you go. Get well soon, Rico. Know how you feel also battling daily addictions forever. Richard, if you have me on social media, reach out to me, DM, whatever, and we can talk, we can whatever. If you want to, reach out to me. And I will always be able to speak, especially when it comes to addictions. I'm helping people as we speak, trying to help, and speaking is a big thing. And just admitting it there, Richard, is a massive thing. And trust me, I've gone 16 years without alcohol. Not that long with Coke, but a long time. And yeah, it's the best without it. Well said, Rico from Tweaky. Time is a healer. You're never alone. Stay strong. Be kind to yourself. Eat well. Be in the moment as much as you can. Practice spot on. Robbie, top man reason. Fair play for opening up. Told many on this platform about issues in the family that have affected my mental health, but very recently have had panic attack for the first time. Reach out to me, Robbie. Congratulations to Spit. Cheers, Psycho. Proud of you all, both Brian and Reese. Got an impending sense of dread out of nowhere. Looking to start some therapy. Best thing, Robbie. Best thing, buddy. And again, you've got your own channel, and people know of you. So to come out and say it is a massive thing. Chris had a bad admonition. See, this is the thing. People just sharing and talking about it shows that you're in a safe place, and it shows that people are willing to talk about this. And that hadn't changed. But when my son was diagnosed autistic, I went to a dark place and never recovered. He's 27 and still now, and still have him every weekend. Listen, mate, I've got my nephew. 3 of my nephews are autistic. It's a new thing, is it? Or I say new, I don't be disrespectful. But in my day, autism wasn't even a thing. As we get older, new things are happening. Mate, listen, seeing your kid every weekend and being there with him, and I can imagine what dark place you went to. But You see him every weekend now, and that's the greatest thing about it. Only 2 accounts I have to deal with outside this world is WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I won't ever entertain. Only accounts I have to deal with outside this world is WhatsApp and YouTube. Richard, Joe, I'm going to do it again. I'll do it here. Richard, if you're still watching, I am putting my personal, not the channels, my personal email is now in the chat. If you are still watching or you watch this back, please send me an email, buddy. Please send me an email and we can talk. Only if you want to, buddy. It's and we can go from there. Our community is best therapy and support. Exactly. This is the thing. Andrew's here. Women are much more likely to reach out and get help than men. I was in a therapy group of 20 where there's only one other man. This is the thing. Do you know what, though? But women, and I don't mean to be sad if there's any women, we all grow up and they have girl talk, don't they? They have always been a lot more open about their feelings, what and everything, and fair play to them.
Yeah.
Fair play to them. You look at it, and a lot of people turn around and say your mum is the strongest person you've ever known. Because they do. I always refer to it. It's so true with my family. If anyone's seen that My Big Fat Greek Wedding, there's that scene where they're talking to the daughter and they go, the men think they're the head of the family, but it needs the woman to be the strong neck to move it. And it's so right. My dad is not a guy you want to mess around with, but compared to my mum, he's a pussycat. The only time my dad goes radioactive is if you go anywhere near him or anything happens to the fam. But my mum is like, yeah, they are a lot more open. There you go. There's someone else that felt like it, Colin Crossamano. Your streams, Brian, Bobby, or Ben, Bobby and Kuva help out so many people. You've created a comfortable environment where I felt I could open up. I'm sure it's the same for this is one of the main things for me. Like I said earlier, if it means doing this more than doing stuff about leaving, then I would choose this every single time. And like I said, the reason I did it and the reason I continue to do it is people showed me the way. Yes, they didn't have platforms like this to do it. I do have a platform. Whether people want to listen to me or not is down to them. But I will continue to help people with this. There you go. In my opinion, you can't qualify depression start. Yeah, it can be a hard one. There were warning signs for me now, but there are things to say right now. There are things now where obviously there's charts you can look at, there's symptoms beforehand, and Psycho, I think you're older than myself and me. There was nothing. Now there's certain things that you could put. There's a right and wrong answer, or there's no wrong answer, shall I say, to that. Great stuff, gents. I brought that one up. I suffer also with anxiety. It stops me having a job, and so yeah, Jano. Listen, it can be a bitch. It can be. It can be a struggle socializing. It really can be. One of the things I can strongly suggest is a group called Andy's Man's Club. Andy's Man's Club. Everyone check them out. Are groups to help mental health around football. But then I've got a friend of mine that came on our last mental health special, Darren Atwood, that joined a men's mental health walking group. There's just men going for a walk, whether it be around a park or where all strangers, but you're amongst like-minded people, and it's given him a second lease in life. Lily White Lane, sometimes a lack in something in our diet can cause depression. There's great books. There is, but like I said, like Psycho said, this is it. It can be days, it can be hours, it can be weeks, it can be months. I'm never far off having and I'm sure you, Rico, as well, having a period of time where it goes down. It's just, and obviously you're like me, you're very open about it. So as soon as you see, I have certain warning signs and triggers. One of the best things one of my friends do, I don't know if this will help people, because sometimes people find it hard to explain to people to get their emotions. So they have this exercise. And it's called the 5 pots. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but imagine you've got 5 pots that you're about to boil some water for pasta. You've got pot 1, which is you've just got the water, it's cold. 2, you've just turned the oven on or the hub on and it's heating up. 3, obviously it's simmering. 4, it's bubbling. 5, you're boiling over and it's all shit to the wall. I have friends that literally say to me, "What pot are you in?" And I'll say, "Oh, I'm in pot 1, which is obviously cold water. I'm cool." Or if I'm in a bad way, if they can see I'm in a bad way, they're like, "What pot are you in, Bri? What pot are you on?" And if I say 4 or 5, they know, right, we need to. Because for some people, it can be as easy as that. They don't want to talk about it, but it's easy to say, right, I'm having a bad day. I'm in pot 3 right now or whatever. And people will know, right, okay, he's going. There's so many different ways to use it. I will say, Tweaky, once again, Foxy, thank you once again for that awesome super chat. Brian, that's I don't know what part of that you were reacting to. Put it again in the comments, Michael, and I'll pick it up. Let's have a look. What was that from? Leave it. I don't even know what that is. Toxic. Oh yeah, that's the email. Oh, okay, I've got it now. That's from the email I received. Yeah. Listen, this is. I am pretty goddamn sure I will receive another one after this one. And funnily enough, I responded back to them, and they don't respond. But it's just sad. It's just sad, and you see it on Twitter. Please give funds to mental health people, mate. We listen. What I will say with this, Simon, as well, is when we do our 24-hour mental health special, we do a month just giving, and we do 50% goes to a mental health and addiction charity here. And one was going to a friend's charity that she ran, Sport Against Suicide. That charity no longer exists, so the other 50 will go to Mind or somewhere else. But we can definitely sort that out. So no problem at all. It's okay not to be okay with the smake. That's the thing, with a fake smile, you can convince anyone. And I've actually got "it's okay to not be okay" tattooed on my ribcage here. Listen, this man here again spoke through Twitter, and I think occasionally streams. He reached out to me when he could see I was down. This guy is right up there in my estimation of diamond people. There you go. This is the thing, mate. Psycho, you'll know this, but my greatest remedy is my 4 nephews and niece. I go anywhere near them, I'm fine. Unfortunately, they're not that easy to get hold of living here, but when I'm with them, damn right. Colin, you look a happier person, Brian, since you oh, mate, do you know what? Since I took a step back, people will know the grief I got for being frontline Levy out, and I will continue to be frontline Levy out. I am never going to waver from that, but I'm not letting it. All that streaming, all that. I came back to London very, very angry. I had a lot of anger issues. I smashed windows in this house because I wanted to get at the landlord. Another story. But I had a lot of anger in me, and I was venting it via Levy out and the trolls and whatever. Quite a good thing for me. I feel honestly, I'm happier. Obviously, I've got the health issues I'm going through now, but my world 2 years ago to this, never going back to what I was 2 years ago. Never, ever. Fear can be a good thing. Also keeps us safe. In the words of The Rock, damn right. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. That's a massive one for me. This is the thing. There's a lot of it on here. Thank you very much indeed, Psycho. It feels very, very weird. We've got 2 psychos in here, and they're all so lovely. And it's like, thanks, Psycho. But yes, thank you, teacher. It's literally this is the thing. Listen, mate, it's not about the super chats. I've always said if people are in a position to do it, I don't care if we don't get a super chat ever again. I care more about the community and building this channel up organically and getting the recognition it deserves. If people are in a position to put a super chat in, brilliant, and thank you. But just subscribing, following us, and being part of it is better. When I'm out on the street, I feel anxiety attack coming on. I'm straight to the office. Yeah, listen, I've been there, done that. I used to have a photographic memory of off licenses, and when I was bang on the alcohol and coke, I used to choose different off license a day, and I knew which alcohol was off the shelf. Ask if they'd have any. They'd go in the back, and I'll nick a bottle of Jack Daniels, and out I went. Alcohol. Do you know what? Alcohol is the biggest one for me, and I'm not just talking about me and my addictions. You can just walk into a pub and everything's fine. You could just walk into a pub, can't you, Rico? It's not like you can just walk into a pub, rack up a line of coke or shoot whatever. And then you look at the supermarkets now, where they do all the special deals for the huge cans. For me, alcohol, and it is my worst addiction. It is my worst demon, but I think it's the worst one out of all of like the drinks, drugs, drinks, drugs, gambling. People will say gambling, but for me, I think alcohol. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I went through a time probably. This was maybe a couple of years before I started experiencing anxiety attacks, where I got a really bad gambling addiction. Luckily, I was at the age where I could kind of put a lid on it at the time. Like I said, I was a barber all those years ago, so I weren't on the best wage. I was on apprentice wage, which in the grand scheme of things probably helped. Again, like I said, these things happen for a reason. I wasn't getting much money a week. Like I said, I was on apprenticeship wage, but you can guarantee at least 80% of that was going into slot machines or on football bets. And I didn't really notice it was an addiction until it was kind of like couldn't walk past the bookies without having to go in for a cheeky 20, 30. That becomes 50. That becomes 100. And before you know it, I'm sitting there thinking, I've just done my week's wage trying to win 200 quid. You know, you break it down and you think about it in hindsight, and you think the maximum I could have won, probably on a very, very slim to low chance on a slot machine, was probably about 3 to 4 times the amount of money I had to my name in my back pocket. Is it really worth it? And when you start looking back, you think, oh, what a tit, you know. But that was a time in my life, like I said, where again got on with it, got over it. Look back at it now, know the things that I'd done then wrong. And now I can walk into a bookies. I'm not saying that I still don't gamble, but I can walk into a bookies and put a £5 accumulator on, and that's me done. You know, I don't even look at them. Exactly. Yeah. You can go in there, you can be sensible about it. You know what not to do and what to do and what not to do, because I've sort of subconsciously blocked that part of my life out now. That didn't exist, you know. You know, it's one of them things. You've kind of got to live. The way you got to do it is you got to take every day as it comes, and you got to live in the now. Yesterday doesn't matter anymore. You know, whatever you do now going forward, that's what can be changed. You know, and I saw a comment just then. I'm not sure who it was by. That was absolutely spot on. I'll see if I can.
Let me know when you get. But I will say, Jano, yeah, it's. Trust me, I don't like losing it. My dad goes to the gym every single day, Monday to Friday, works on weights, does everything, still does it. He's 70 years old, but we're talking 20 odd years ago. And my dad was a beast, and he said, "You terrify the shit out." I literally, I've not done nice things. My temper is vile. It is off the chart. I now do it that I put my temper in a metaphoric box in a box, like the Russian dolls. It's inside, and I've got it locked. And I put it right here, just below my rib cage. And every time I'm getting into an argument or screaming or whatever, people will see me always go like that. And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Just keeping a check on something." Because I always think it's there. And there's sometimes where I look down there and I can't see it because I've got it in my head. And if I can't see it, it's Pandora's box. And once it's out, it's not nice. But thankfully, it happened just before I came back to England not this November, just gone the November before. And it hasn't come out again since. And long may it continue. It's listen, I'll never really go into how violent or my temper is. It just wasn't nice. I'm not proud of it. It's still there, and it will never come out unless literally someone does something to my wife or my nephews, and I have it under wraps. But it was not nice. Talk to people, exactly. Put it this way, I'll tell you about my temper. I'll give you a quick up, and it's probably gonna. I don't care right now, actually. So when I lived in Israel, I was at the time I had just missed the I was just over the age group to be mandatory to join the IDF. Mandatory. But they came round to do recruitment and they said, "Do you want to join?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll join. I want to give back to Israel." And this was in 2004. Five. I was still drinking then. And they said, "Okay, you're over the age. We're gonna have to do this. Da 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 da. We're gonna have to talk to your doctors back at home and blah blah blah." They came back to me 2 days later and said, "Okay, Brian, we've spoken to the people back home. There is not a chance we are training you and giving you the Israeli." I was too crazy to join the army. Put it that way. Which again I'm not proud of, but how it got to. Big up Eugene. What's Mr. David Shire saying? "I try my best, mate. I try my best." Just a hard potato, say that to him. Let's see what else we got. Andrew Gregory, mental health is like an ice. Spot on. Spot on. Okay. There you go. I'm a survivor and gladly so. It's a long journey. It's key to seek help and know you are valued. David has hit it on the head. Let me make sure I don't get the ones that are saying goodbye, hello, and whatever to each other. I've had some real hard times mentally in the past few years that have impacted my mental health, overall health in a bad way. Wish I would get help at the start. Eugene, brother, you know where I. Do you know what? Eugene's another one who's a member of the channel, comes on the community, comes on the fan shows, speak with him regularly now. Top guy. Hopefully getting him and his son over to Toronto to watch the game at the Scotland Yard. Always here, Eugene. You got my number. Yeah, this is the thing. Anxiety has become a massive thing now. And here he is. Met with one of my dear friends in Florida. First of all, mate, most importantly, I hope you, your family, and everything are well. I've just realised you're in Florida.
I was going to say, yeah, make sure.
I hope you, your family, your friends, your pets, your work colleagues, everything is safe. And thank you for coming onto a stream right now.
Yeah.
When there is much more concerning things for yourself. But as he's saying, I have a very stressful job in healthcare, and I have to use resources like meditation. Meditation never worked for me. I can't sit still. And yoga just to cope. But sometimes you need more. Someone to talk to is always great to have. Top man, he's spot on. Have you tried anything like yoga or meditation, Reese?
I must admit, when I was going through my bad patch of anxiety, it was, and I'm not promoting this at all, but my way of dealing with it was I jumped back on the cigarettes, and that was not a good step to do. But for me, like I said, it's all individual. Personally, that helped me out and that kept me level-headed and mellow. But also part of that was what I later realized: if I was out at a pub or if I was anywhere, if I was out around my friends or whatever, going out for a cigarette or now a vape, whatever.
Yeah.
That also gives you a bit of one-on-one time with someone else. It gives you a bit of time, bit of fresh air, and also you get to meet and talk to people in the smoking area, or if you go out for a vape or a smoke, you also get that time out of it. And it's kind of like if you're especially at a pub, a busy pub or a bar or whatever, it gives you that quiet 5 minutes outside, and that's what helped me. I think just taking myself out for that 5 minutes, having a cigarette or like now like a vape, and that kind of just puts me in my fresh air. A fresh start. And I also want to say to Eugene as well, I know he said that you wish you'd have got help at the start, mate. You can get help, whenever, and wherever. There's people out there like yourself, myself, and Brian. If you ever want to chat or speak to us about anything, more than welcome to. It's never too late. Never too late to start opening up about things.
There you go. So then David, who is, like I said, one of the nicest men to walk on the planet, said, "Who is the guest, Brian? Thank you, mate, for sharing. It takes a lot to open up and then gets easier. This is Reese. David, you'll be seeing more of him. I think this is third or fourth time on the channel. You'll be seeing more of him, trust me.
Yeah.
Roundtable Therapy, he's another one that speaks openly about it. It's brilliant. And thank you for saying that. They say the young can learn from the old, but tonight the very old has learned a lot from you kids." Honestly, another guy that I speak to now, again, came into the channel and does not miss a single show. Let's have a look. So, on other news, Solanke's on the bench for England. Okay. I work with people in men's. Big up, Stephen. I hope you're good and well. It's the most rewarding job to be able to help others. I worked there for 37 years. My biggest dream, Stephen, and I'm trying to sort out that I can do it, is I want to become a counsellor for addiction. But obviously, with me not being working for it takes a long going back to school, learning at all costs. But that is my dream, to be able to give back. Richest man, big up. Literally just this weekend gone, I needed help with something and reached out to Brian and instantly replied and helped me. Top guy. We need more like you, fella. Listen, Rich, is my pleasure, buddy. You're a top guy, and like I said, when people do reach out to me, I will always try and reach back. If I don't reach back, then there's a problem. But it was I did get back to you immediately because I think it was stupid o'clock in the morning for me, and I was asleep or awake yet again from not sleeping. But always richest man. So what else have we got? That was the video I said everyone should watch. I cannot stress it more enough. Finding a coping mechanism is key. I'm still looking for mine. Sammy, it could be anything, mate. It can be anything. I used to go for walks. So it could be swimming. It could be just taking a walk to your nearest coffee house, having a coffee. Could be anything, mate. But good luck in finding it. I'm new to this community, but what I've quickly realised how lovely people are and welcoming in. Everyone's been. This is the thing. People think a lot of us are just bitching, ranting, raving, screaming, moaning, whatever. There are so many good people in here. And I will say this, and it gives me the end. Like I said, the reason this channel is what it is and why we get people following, or not why we got the following, is because of my mothership, my brothers from We Are Tottenham TV. You look at a lot of these YouTube channels that are up, they all started by making their debut and getting on We Are Tottenham TV. And We Are Tottenham TV, who have supported me, like people know, closer than you could ever imagine with them two. I am closer, no matter when, and not just for this channel. If they need, rather than being the big shark and not wanting anyone to step in their waters, they have time for everyone. You need help with this? You need me to come on this? You need, when they're at the stadium, you want a photo? You want it? Honestly, We Are Tottenham TV, I call them the mothership. And I always say, whenever they need me, no matter what, I will be there. They are two incredible people. Okay, we've put Dan's channel in the chat. Let's see which else ones we've got. Reese, big up from him. What else we got? Yeah, if you, I know a lot of people have left due to the football. Hopefully, people will watch this back. Either way, big up to you, Chris Agambar. Looking forward to seeing you soon when I'm in England. Of course, he'd be here. 5:21 a.m. in the morning in Melbourne, and he is here. Let's have a look. Outside of YouTube, my life is very challenging, and doing YouTube has given me a place to switch from it. I think it's the best decision. Big up, big up. Let's see which other ones. Where is the one? Brother from another. Okay, that's them talking. Chris. Okay. Hey, David. I'm trying to find the one that you said would probably be hit it on the now. These matters being openly discussed gladdens my heart. Huge respect to everyone that's sharing. Yeah, big up to everyone. Peter has come in and gifted a membership, so you may have got one. My anxiety stopped me from going to leave the out process. Oh, that was so. Listen, a lot of people have this. A lot of people have social anxiety. Mate, it's nothing. Listen, the one thing I do know, Jano, is you're always there. I always see you in the comments. I think I always see you on Twitter retweeting. There are so many. You always, from what I've seen, you're always supporting it. So, listen, that is just as good. Helping retweet things and get it out there when it needs to be is just as important as turning up at the ground. Chris, I truly believe. I hope this fan base. Okay, they're talking about something else. Let's. Have
I think the comment. Brian, sorry, I was referring to Dave Raybold's comment earlier on about the I can't remember exactly word for word what it was, but it was basically along the lines of what I said, and it was absolutely.
You mean this one?
Yes, yeah, that is the one.
This
Spot
is
on,
it.
Dave.
This is exactly what it is. Oh, look who's here. Bill, one of the best people I kept. Another dear friend of mine. Listen, as Brian has been a big inspiration to me over the last few months, been through a lot, and he's given me lots of words of encouragement. Listen, buddy, it's what I do. It's what I do. It's you it's very nice to be told that I'm an inspiration. It's always refreshing and humbling to hear it, mate. And you know I'll always be there for you. Love you guys for doing this chat. Would love to be involved on a 24-hour show. I'd fly to Toronto. Medic Greg. It will be during the season. We will try and now do it around the Tottenham one. And of course, well, it depends if your Florida Panthers are coming over as well, because he follows them. Spot on, Brian. Thanks so much. Listen, you don't need to thank me. Speaking of people that helped me through the last few months, thank you, David. There's other people. What bookies did those that did those roulette machines were criminal, and it's all in the name of safety. Yeah, listen, my first addiction was fruit machines. I used to literally go in with my wages, go into a pub with a £50 note, ask for a Coke and the change in pound coins. Used to go to the service stations. Now it comes to the point where if I'm back home in England and I've got £2 in my back pocket at the end of the night, I'll whack it in the fruity. I don't change a note. I won't sit there. If it's there and I'm like, doesn't mean I will do it because I got £2. But let's have a look. We did okay for both storms. Thank God.
Good.
Thank God. We got hey Brian, I hope you're both good. It's a struggle every day, but one day, that's all you can do, mate. One day at a time.
One step at a time.
David Harris is a big one. It is a big one. My breathing gets out of control when I'm in and honestly, check out thank God that as well with YouTube and Google you can find these things. What else have we got?
So, one of my I don't know whether it was a coping mechanism essentially or what I used to do was, but if I would find myself at a point where I really needed to get my bearings back, I would always, like I said, go outside, open a window, get some fresh air. But also the other thing I would do is put the plug in the sink, leave the cold water on, and brim it with cold water. And I would just dunk my head and my face under the cold water for as long as I could hold my breath for. And it's almost like a restart for me. That was kind of like, oof, a bit of a shock to the system. That to me would be one of the things where I could go, right, that's got me out of the funk. And yeah, like I said, everyone's different. Breathing exercises, yoga, walks. It all helps. It does really, really help.
The other one I do, like you, Reece, I don't do it with the sink. If I think I'm having one of those, sometimes what I'll do is I'll get like a soup bowl or cereal bowl, fill it with cold water, put a flannel, like a washed flannel, in it, put it in the fridge, and go back to it every so often and just keep it in the fridge. Peter's at it again. He's gifted another membership. Thank you so much. There is a similarity with smoking and meditation, yoga. You breathe differently, usually slower, controlled. That helps calming the nerves. My yoga coach taught me. Yoga is something I'd love to do. I can't do meditation because of my ADD. Even now, I'm twitching my leg because I can't sit still. Paddy, enjoyable show, buddy. You are one of the good ones on YouTube. Paddy, thank you very much, Paddy. Love you dearly, buddy. There you go. David still goes to therapy 3 times a week after going from what? See, he going from being. This is it. This is it. Look up. Thank you for sharing, David. Obviously, you and I speak regularly. There's a recent study. If you're having trouble sleeping, a hot shower within an hour at the most before going to sleep works. I've tried that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it will for a lot. Sleep is massive. I can tell you now from someone watching the football, but listening to you guys, ITV has also, it's probably Lee Dixon who will probably make you want to come back to this stream. There you go, 243, he's still up. Listen, buddy, love you straight back, buddy. Love you straight back. Colin, I lost everything to toxic people, almost 60 years of work to end up where I started. I now live my life on my own. Got a dog and he helps me more than worse. Listen, that's it. And you know what, Colin? It may take 60 years, but you're by yourself. You live your life now. You are a incredible guy. I love you dearly. I just had thought, you know what? Sometimes I think about it when I remember a stream I did with Ben's when I told you we're talking about you losing your earphones. I said get one of those headbands with speakers, but I used to go to sleep because my wife likes quiet when she goes to sleep, and just you walking your dog, looking at wearing them, always puts a smile on my face for some reason. But there you go. Colin, you're never exactly. Who else have we got in here? Brian, one of my honestly, this man is one of the closest people in my life, and do you know how I met him? Levy Out protest. Helped me organise, or was part of the organiser with Ryan Isaacs. Us three were the ones that started the ones in the training ground. This man is always at the end of a phone. Mr. Fitzpatrick, big up to you. Right, we're getting towards the end of the comments, then we'll close it down. Let's have a look. My latest addiction is We Are Tottenham TV bingo. It's We Are Tottenham It's We Are Tottenham on tour TV bingo. It's a dual thing now, but yeah, it is very, very addictive and not harmful. Not harmful, so it's all good. Let's have a look what else we put. Going to the beach early is why not rub it in? Going to the beach early. Lucky for some. Recovering addicts can spot behaviors, whether it's gambling machines, alcohol, drugs. We need support structures to stop us acting on impulse. When I feel the need, I talk. Something I've avoided. Yeah, I can spot it a mile away. I can spot an alcoholic a mile away, whether they want to admit it or not. I can admit it. Yeah, we just wrap it up now. So we've got with the final ones we've got is self-talk is very important. What else have we got? Michael Owen is the best for sleep. He's the better, oh, mate. That's the perfect one. That is the perfect one. And then we got to help everyone out. Right, guys. It's been almost a 2-hour stream, and I normally do an hour, but it wasn't even a stream of 2 halves. It was a stream of
Haven't got a time limit though. That's what we said.
Exactly.
Haven't got a time limit.
Reece, first of all, everyone in the chat that's been in and contributed, super chats, memberships. I do believe I didn't even say it that David had gifted another one recently, and Peter gifted another one recently. So thank you guys. Thank you for contributing. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you could take something from it, or maybe share it with someone that could take something from it. Reece, thank you, my brother. Like I said, I put your Twitter handle in the comments. But once again, just tell people where they can find you.
Yes, I'm on X at Reece Hubbin, my Twitter handle down below. Like I said, if anyone ever wants to reach out and speak to me about anything football related or other, you know where to find me. So yeah, and thanks again, Brian, for having me on. Like I said, we'll probably be on a lot more frequently going forward as well, which is good, and I look forward to it. And yeah, another one checked off the list.
There we go. And I will say, Morning Brews is back tomorrow. The members show is back tomorrow. There won't be an evening brews. It'll be the members show instead. I am going to do my normal slogan action, but it will be different words today. So I will just say, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Is it? It is Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, Thursday. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, mental health matters.